coming ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes.
It's The Drive on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg, and a good Monday afternoon to all of you. My name is Paul Van Wagner. Brian C. Reed is in the other studio taking your calls at 866-961-1430. 866-961-1430 is the number to call. You can also text us. The AA Automatic Transmission text line is open and ready to serve you. That number is also 866-961-1430. Don't forget to text DAD to the AA Automatic Transmission text line. Your chance to win a brand new chainsaw from the Power Zone, a kayak from NRV Gateway Realty, a fire pit, and all the fixins for s'mores from True North Title, a new suit from Garrett's and Meg's, some free golf from your friends here at ESPN Blacksburg, and a family 4-pack of tickets to the Monster Truck Show June 30th at Motor Mile Speedway. All can be yours. All you have to do is text DAD to 866-961-1430. Scott Nason. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on just a second. I screwed up, Brian.
My hands to myself. No matter how hard I'm trying to.
Scott Nason.
I want
Scott.
all to myself.
Scott Nason. Scott.
I love Scott like a love song, baby. When you're ready, come and get
Scott Nason.
Scott.
Scott Nason. Scott Nason. Scott Nason.
Absolutely, let's go.
I feel horrible. I almost screwed that up. Scott Nason joining us today. How are you, man?
I'm doing wonderful, Paul. Not only is the sun shining here in northern Michigan, and that intro got me fired up, but it's a week that I've waited for, really for about almost 4 years. It is the opening week of when soccer gets big coverage, and the games are big. The Masters are big. World Cup, maybe 2018, starting on Thursday. Wow.
Oh, sorry. I fell asleep because I don't care.
Well, that's what you have me on the show for, Paul, is to make the sports that maybe most people, the masses, might not care about, make them care at least a little bit, make it a little interesting, if nothing else. I hope to do that at least today.
All right, you look at the groups. There are G of them. I don't know what that works out to numerically, but there are
8.
8. Is that what it is?
I think. Yeah.
A,
8
B,
groups of
C,
4, correct.
D, E, F, G. Did I not put a finger up one at a time?
I don't know. I'm
losing my mind here, Paul.
I can't be responsible for where your fingers are going, Andrew. That's not part of the internship. So you have 8 groups of 4, as Scott said, because I believe that he knows what he's talking about. And the way the groups are put together is very interesting. It's you in theory should never have a heavily loaded group because they always have a top team, a second-tier team, a third-tier team, and a fourth-tier team, right?
In theory, yes, but almost every year they come up with what's called the group of death, which means that it is the most heavily loaded bracket, if you will, or group of 4. This year, it's kind of hard to say which is the group of death right now. You look at probably 2 of the biggest teams in Europe, Portugal and Spain. Now, they are seated in the same group. They're both in Group B with Iran and Morocco, so you would assume both those teams would advance. But what they do is the top 8 teams in the world, they put as the top 8 seeds, and so each one is put into those groups. However, with the host being Russia, obviously they are not one of those top 8 seeds, so they get one of the top spots. So that's how you have a situation like you have in Group B with Portugal and Spain, both very good teams in the same group. You look at some of the other groups right now, not a whole lot that are comparable to those. You have Belgium and England in the same group. Those are 2 pretty high-level teams. But other than that, I wouldn't say there is one group of death. If there is one that I would pick, I would say Group D, which has Argentina, a team that has tons of pressure on it to finally win one of these big matches. Croatia, a very good European squad. Iceland. Do not sleep on this Iceland squad. They are one to watch out. And Nigeria, a pretty good African team. So if there's a group of death, I would say that is it right there.
But that's not but from the standpoint of that's not a group that do you expect anyone from that group to really compete for a championship, or is that more a group where anybody can come out, but once you get to the elimination round, the round of 16, they're probably gonna maybe make it a game or two, but not necessarily gonna be competitive?
I mean, you have to look at Argentina as the team out of that group that could really make some noise. I mean, no offense to Croatia, Iceland, Nigeria, but they're probably not making it to the quarterfinals.
Right.
Argentina, this is a team that people have been waiting for a long time. Lionel Messi, of course, one of the greatest of all times, and he's the greatest of all time not to win a World Cup. We've talked about Ovechkin much. He won his Stanley Cup. Messi needs to win a World Cup at some point because eventually he's going to run out of time. And this Argentina squad is loaded up. They did make the final 4 years ago in Brazil, losing to a very good German team. Argentina is the team I'm keeping my eye out for in that group.
Lionel Messi, I loved his song "Hello." When you look at the favorites, and I know that in soccer it doesn't necessarily, especially in the World Cup, it doesn't necessarily matter that the favorites are the favorites. I mean, you got to look at a Germany, for example. What are the chances for a team like a Germany to get through and win this thing?
Well, the chances are very good. I mean, Germany is in as good a form as they were 4 years ago, and they are one of the favorites, in my opinion, along with Brazil. Those have to be the two chalk, if you will, favorites in here. There hasn't been a back-to-back World Cup winner since 1962, when Brazil did it in 1958 and 1962. The other tidbit as far as Brazil, and a lot of people are picking them to win, South America has not done well when the tournaments have been played in Europe. As a matter of fact, Brazil was the last team to win in Europe in 1958 when they won in Sweden. They're the only South American team to win on European soil. Now, of course, Russia technically is Europe, but it's also part of Asia. Brazil did win in South Korea in 2002. So I don't know if that has any relevance there, but traditionally, South American teams, when the tournament has been played in Europe, has not done well. But if you're going to pick two teams, I think you'd be hard-pressed to not pick two more favorites than Brazil and Germany. They very well could be in the final. And if you're Brazil, you remember how absolutely humiliating. You want to talk about a team that has a lot to prove. This Brazil squad has tons to prove because they were absolutely humiliated by Germany 7-1 in their home country in the last World Cup in the semifinals. So they have as much pressure as Argentina, if not more.
Group G: Belgium, Panama, Tunisia. I don't even know where that is, and England. Scott Nason, why, with the Premier League being as great as it is, do we not talk about England as one of those elite teams?
Well, a couple comments on that. One is they haven't won a World Cup since 1966, their first and only World Cup. Secondly, if they avoid Germany, they're usually pretty good, much like World War II, I might add.
Right.
That's a whole other story.
Wow.
But England traditionally has been knocked out in these stages, especially when it comes to penalty kicks, by the likes of Germany. And three, the Premier League does have a lot of English players, but they do have a lot of other players coming from other parts of the world. So a combination of all three, England really has to get this monkey off their back. They got knocked out by Iceland, of all countries, in the last European Championships 2 years ago. It's a team that has a lot of talent. They're in a good group. I mean, they should advance at least out of that group. However, you look at the way the groups are set up, they very well could meet Germany in the round of 16 or the quarterfinals. So they're going to have to get through Germany again. I'd like to see them do it. I don't know if they can.
Who's your dark horse, Scott? Who's the team that nobody's talking about? Maybe it's Tunisia, maybe it's Croatia, I don't know. Who's your team that nobody's talking about that you're really interested in seeing play?
I think Colombia is a team to watch out for in Group H. They are in a very easy group. I think the easiest group of any of them. They have Japan, Poland, who hasn't advanced out of the group stage in 32 years, and Senegal, a team that is very new to the competition. I like them to get out of that group, and then they would probably play a Belgium or an England. Again, take your pick there. I don't think that's a too much of a tough matchup. Then they'd have to go through, by the way, Germany or Brazil in the next
Right.
round. But I like that Colombia team out of Group H as one to watch out for. And then you got to look at Uruguay in Group A, probably the second easiest group, which has host Russia,
Isn't it
Egypt,
Uruguay?
and Saudi Arabia. So I would say Uruguay and Colombia, two South American teams that maybe aren't talked about as much, two teams I'm keeping my eye on.
Is Uruguay that team, because they're in that group with Russia, and Russia kind of got that number one spot? I mean, you look at that, like Saudi Arabia probably has some pretty decent soccer players. Egypt, same thing. Uruguay kind of seems like maybe the team that should win that group. Am I accurate in that statement?
I would think so. When you look at the hosts for the World Cups, there's only been one host country that hasn't advanced out of the group stage, and that was South Africa 8 years ago when they hosted it. And, Russia should have a chance to advance out of there. Egypt is a team that has a player, Mohamed Salah, who played for Liverpool. He got hurt. We're not sure of how his injury will affect their play, but Uruguay's got to be the favorite coming out of that group, and I would expect that they could have a good chance to make it at least to the quarterfinals.
Brazil beat Austria on Sunday in a friendly 3-0. Neymar scored a goal, second straight match. He now has 55 goals for Brazil. You talk about a guy that really he's okay, but not great on the international scene, right?
You're exactly right. And 4 years ago would be a prime example when Brazil struggled and got humiliated by Germany in that semifinal. I mean, he's among the likes of Pele and Ronaldo as far as Brazil's all-time leading scorers. However, he doesn't have a World Cup, and those other guys have several. So Neymar has a lot to prove. Lionel Messi has a lot to prove, and the pressure on these athletes cannot be overstated. We talk about pressure in the NBA Finals. We talk about pressure in the Stanley Cup, NCAA basketball, all sports in America. Nothing can even come close to the pressure that is on these individuals, especially in these countries like Brazil, like Argentina, like Colombia, like England, and really like any of the big hitters in Europe and Asia and South America and even Africa. There's a lot of pressure on these athletes, and it can get away from you very quickly because you lose that first match in group stage, then you got to almost win the next two. And so pressure every game, and that's why this competition is one of the best in the world, if not the best, sir.
Andrew was wondering why we haven't talked about Team USA yet.
Well, hey, Team USA finally scored against France.
Wow!
First time ever.
Wow.
However, it was an exhibition match, and so we're not going to worry about them till 2022 in Qatar, hopefully.
Or Qatar.
Either one.
Either way. All right. So if I want to watch this, is it something I'm asking this in all seriousness because I am not a World Cup soccer kind of a guy. Is this something that is ESPN broadcasting these games? Where can I find these games, Scott?
Well, ESPN Deportes is, and so you
Okay.
can find them there. And so other networks are showing them. But since you're an ESPN affiliate, I'm just going to mention yours. But matches to watch this weekend. If you're going to watch any matches, don't just flip on the channel and wait. I'm going to give you 3 matches to watch, Paul. First of all, Friday, 2 p.m., Portugal and Spain, 2 of the best in the world meet in the group. That's going to be a good match. Saturday, 9 a.m., Argentina against the smallest of the countries, Iceland, will be taking place. And then on Sunday at 11 a.m., Germany against Mexico. So if you're going to turn on the World Cup this weekend, I would suggest looking at any of those 3 matches. Maybe give you a better taste and appreciation of what we call the beautiful game.
All right, so since USA's not in there, I need a team to root for. I'm German by heritage, but I feel like that's the easy way out. Give me a team, Scott Nason. Who am I cheering for?
I'm going for England, a team that is well and long overdue for a championship since 1966. It would mean so much for the country. Many of us are of English descent. Go England.
I'm going to go with Argentina because I love Cyndi Lauper. Scott Nason, where can our listeners hear more from you, sir?
Tried to follow that last one. I can't, but that was good. You can find me at our sports show, The Game Level, brand new edition, matter of fact, in a couple hours.
Nice.
At thegamesportshow.com, we'll be talking about the World Cup, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, and all sorts of sports goodness. And hopefully you'll be able to check it out.
Well, you know I will. Scott Nason, as always, my friend, thank you so much for doing this. Look forward to chatting with you again next week when we are just elbows deep into World Cup goodness, and I probably still won't have watched a match.
Well, we'll get you up to date either way, Paul. Thanks for having me on. Have a great week,
Thanks,
sir.
my friend. Talk to you soon. Scott Nason, we appreciate him joining us every single week right here on your local radio station. We are ESPN Blacksburg.
ESPN Blacksburg. We speak. Touchdown! Sports.